Many people start learning English with excitement, but soon they feel confused, slow, and unsure. And this creates the first important idea of this essay, the hook, which is that English becomes easier when the mind learns to think in English, not only study it. Many learners face the same pain points again and again. They understand English when reading or listening, but they cannot speak smoothly. They know many words, but they forget them when they need them. They translate everything in their head, which makes thinking slow. They feel nervous when speaking, and sometimes they lose confidence. These problems make English feel difficult, but the truth is that English becomes easier when the brain is trained the right way. This leads to the big promise of this method. The promise is simple. Anyone can improve English thinking if they follow small, clear steps every day. English fluency is not about talent, not about high memory, and not about perfect grammar. It is about training the mind slowly and gently until English becomes natural. To start this change, the first transition the learner must make is to stop seeing English as something scary or difficult and start seeing it as a simple daily skill, like writing a message, talking to a friend, or listening to music. Once this shift happens, the mind becomes more open. After this idea, the main content begins with 3 easy steps. Step 1 is to relax the mind about English. Many learners were taught English with pressure, tests, marks, and fear, and this created stress inside the brain. When the brain is stressed, learning becomes hard. So the first step is to remove fear and allow English to feel normal. Step 2 is to listen to simple English every day, even for a few minutes. Listening is the easiest way to train the brain, because the brain learns language through sound. When the learner listens to slow, clear English, the mind begins to understand patterns without effort. This type of input builds natural understanding. Step 3 is to try speaking small sentences, even if they are not perfect. The goal is not perfect grammar, but simple expression. When the learner speaks even a few small sentences daily, the brain learns that English is a language for use, not only for study. To show how these steps can help, a small mini story makes the idea clear. A student studied English for many years, but still felt blocked when speaking. She knew many rules, but she could not speak without long pauses. She felt nervous and often stayed silent. One day, she decided to change her method. She stopped focusing on rules and started listening to easy English stories every morning. She spoke simple sentences to herself while getting ready for school. She did not worry about mistakes. After a few weeks, she felt a change. English words began to come faster. Her mind started using English without forcing it. She felt more relaxed and more confident. This story shows that small daily actions can change the way the brain thinks. Now here is a simple practical task for the learner who follows this method. Choose a short, easy English audio. Listen to it 2 times. The first time, just listen. The second time, close the eyes and imagine the meaning. After listening, say 3 short sentences about what you understood. They can be simple sentences. The goal is only to connect listening with speaking. This task begins the process of thinking in English. The motivational ending of this part is clear. English is not learned in one day. It grows like a plant, slowly and gently. Every small step helps the mind become stronger. With daily listening and simple speaking, the learner becomes closer to fluency, and the mind slowly starts to think in English with less effort. This is the beginning of a new way of learning. Learning English becomes easier when the learner understands how the brain grows with small, daily practice. And this idea creates the hook for the second part of this essay, because many people believe English fluency is something big and difficult, but in reality, it is built through simple steps, repeated again and again. Many learners face similar pain points during this stage. They understand English, but cannot speak fast. They know many words, but cannot use them in real life. They want to speak confidently, but feel nervous when someone talks to them. They want to think in English, but still translate every sentence in their mind, which slows everything down. These problems make the learner feel stuck. But the big promise of this part is that the mind can change with gentle training. When the brain receives the right kind of practice, it slowly begins to think in English without forcing it. This transition happens when the learner stops expecting fast results and starts trusting the daily process. The main content of this part explains 3 important steps to help the mind move from understanding English to using English. Step 1 is to build comfort with English sound. Many learners avoid listening because they feel they cannot understand everything. But full understanding is not required. What matters is that the ear becomes familiar with the rhythm and flow of the language. Listening to simple English for a few minutes every day helps the brain feel safe with the sounds, and this comfort reduces fear and increases natural learning. Step 2 is to connect new words to real life. Memorizing long lists of vocabulary is not effective because the brain forgets words that have no meaning or experience. But when the learner uses a new word in a simple sentence about their own day, the word becomes part of their memory. For example, the word tired becomes easier to remember when the learner says, "I felt tired after school." This connection helps the brain hold the word for a longer time. Step 3 is to create short speaking moments in daily routine. The learner does not need long conversations. Even 1 minute of speaking can help the brain practice forming sentences. The learner can describe a place in the room, talk about what they will do today, or explain how they feel. These small speaking moments slowly build confidence and make English more natural. To help explain these steps more clearly, a mini story shows how this method works. A young boy wanted to speak English well, but he always felt shy and scared. He could read English well, but when he tried to speak, his mind became blank. One day, he decided to change his method. Instead of studying heavy books, he started listening to a short English story every morning. At first, he understood only a little, but he did not stop. After a week, he understood more. After 2 weeks, the sentences started to feel familiar. He also practiced speaking 1 or 2 sentences every evening. Sometimes he made mistakes, but he kept going. Slowly, his confidence grew, and after some time, he noticed he was thinking easy English phrases during the day. This small change showed him that the method was working. Now, the practical task for this part is simple. Choose 5 easy English words today. Do not memorize them. Instead, write 1 small sentence for each word that connects to your real life. Say each sentence aloud, slowly. This practice helps the brain remember the word naturally. The motivational ending reminds the learner that fluency does not come from one big action. It comes from small actions done daily. Every minute of listening and every short sentence spoken helps the brain grow stronger. Even if progress feels slow, it is still progress. The learner must keep going with patience because the mind is slowly learning to think in English. Thinking in English becomes more natural when the learner continues to practice simple actions every day. And this idea forms the hook for the final part of the essay, because the last stage of learning is not about studying more rules, but about strengthening the connection between the mind and the language. Many learners still face some pain points at this level. They understand simple English, but want to understand deeper ideas. They can speak short sentences, but want to speak longer ones. They can remember new words, but forget them after some days. They feel more confident than before, but still want to be smoother in real conversations. These feelings are normal, and the big promise of this final part is that the learner can reach a stable and strong English thinking habit by following a few gentle steps and repeating them daily. The transition here is important because the learner moves from practicing English as a task to using English as a natural part of thinking, and this shift happens slowly but becomes stronger with consistent practice. The main content now explains 3 steps that help this stage. Step 1 is to build longer listening time. At the beginning, short listening was enough, but now the learner can increase the time to 5 or 10 minutes of easy English each day. Longer listening helps the brain understand more details, new sentence patterns, and natural speed. Step 2 is to grow ideas in English. Instead of speaking only short sentences, the learner can try to speak longer thoughts, for example, by describing a place, telling a small memory, or explaining a simple opinion. These longer thoughts help the brain connect ideas smoothly in English. Step 3 is to review old words using new situations. For example, if the learner learned the word proud, they can use it again by saying, "I felt proud when I finished my work," or "My friend felt proud after winning a game." This kind of review helps the brain keep the word for a longer time. A mini story helps show how this final stage works. A girl who practiced English daily for 2 months began to notice that she was understanding more English without trying too hard. She listened to short English stories in the morning and spoke simple sentences in the evening. After some time, she started thinking small English phrases during the day, like, "I need to go," or "This is easy," or "I am hungry." These small thoughts showed that her mind was changing. Later, she tried to describe her day in English. She was not perfect, but she was clear. Her confidence grew slowly, and she realized that fluency is not about speaking fast, but about feeling comfortable. This story shows that everyday practice builds strong thinking skills. The practical task for this part is simple but powerful. Each day, choose one topic, such as food, school, family, or dreams. Then speak for 1 minute in English about that topic. It does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be clear and simple. This helps the brain create longer thoughts and stronger connections. The motivational ending of this essay is that fluency is built by patience, not pressure. The learner must remember that even small progress is real progress. Every day the mind becomes a little stronger, a little faster, and a little more comfortable with English. The journey never requires perfection. It requires practice, belief, and steady steps. And now, if this full script has helped guide the learning process, the reader is encouraged to continue growing by following more lessons, learning tools, and simple guidance, and to stay connected by liking, subscribing, and supporting the learning path so that the English thinking journey can continue with confidence.